Well, things can be thrilling when NCAA cross country happens because sometimes it's really just a matter of the thing is the margins that decides who's in and who's out. Picking up where I left off in my last video, we'll be breaking down all the remaining regional races that I didn't cover in that one because there were some incredible finishes and big performances leading up to the big dance. Let's get right into things with the West region hosted at Washington State. This race featured a runner that could definitely contend for a top spot at nationals in Evans Karui. The freshman from Washington State ran an astonishing 22:46 time earlier this year to break Edward Chesrick's course record, and while he doesn't have an undefeated record this year, he did win the West Regional convincingly. In the team race, number 7 Stanford would actually finish third as Washington and Oregon grabbed the auto qualifiers with all the teams rather close in score. Also, number 16 CBU got fourth here, and they are going to nationals as an at-large team. For the women's race, Annie Bunnage led her Stanford team to a number 2 finish.
It is Bunnage! It is Ayildis! And Maddie Elmore, your top 3!
Behind her were the 2 Oregon runners, Ayildis and Elmore. Oregon would get a strong win here over Stanford and the number 3 ranked Washington woman. The Huskies would still qualify for nationals with an at-large team. The Ducks, though, are the number 2 ranked team in the country right now, and a lot of that has to do with the duel up front. If they are going to challenge BYU for the title, they need a strong performance up front and also throughout their lineup, as the BYU squad definitely has a lot of depth. I do think it'll be an interesting and exciting race to watch come nationals for that team title. Now let's talk about the race where there was a rather crazy finish, and that was in the Great Lakes region men's race. The Great Lakes always has some big schools in it, and this year Notre Dame and Wisconsin were both up there as the top schools, going in with Wisco at number 9 and Notre Dame at number 19. However, Butler wasn't too far behind in the rankings, and Michigan State was also a top 30 squad. So there was definitely a natty spot up for grabs in this region. Wisconsin ran well together as a pack hang back, and Notre Dame led this race throughout to grab the regional victory. But a battle would be up for the 3rd spot, and it would come down to Michigan State and Butler. However, what's interesting is the fate of those 2 schools would in part end up with Purdue runner Puckeridge, as he hit the front in this race down the stretch and looked to be in the lead for the win. However, a huge effort from Butler's Zaglarski just got him ahead of the Purdue runner at the line. Giving Butler an all-important first overall score that lowered their score just enough to tie Michigan State, a team that had been leaving on them the entire race. And it's not like the Spartans ran poorly in the final stretch. They had guys move up as well. But thanks to that extra point saved from their score, Butler was able to go to the tiebreaker, and they got it, as aided by a strong 3 runners up front. They won the head-to-head battle, even though Michigan State put 6 runners in before Butler's number 5 guy. A crazy story that you don't often see of regionals. Of course, there's tiebreakers that happen in cross country, but it's rare you see it unfold due to something that happens like this to decide the winner of the race. Butler now heads to nationals as an at-large team. On the other hand, the women's race wasn't quite as dramatic, as it featured a win from Mercy Kenyangwe, as the Toledo runner pulled ahead to take this one. The outcome would be in some sense similar to the men's race, as Notre Dame grabbed the top spot and Wisconsin the second auto qualifier. Then Michigan State, while making a push, weren't able to grab the 3rd spot. However, they were able to get an at-large bid. Moving into the Mid-Atlantic region in a race won by both Villanova and Villanova's Liam Murphy, another very close race happened there as Princeton won a tiebreaker against Georgetown for the auto qualifier spot in and Navy was just a point behind. A very solid race from the Navy squad. In the women's race, the big favorite, Kaylee McCabe, would run away from everyone, and her West Virginia team got a strong win over Georgetown and Penn State. Both those programs would also be heading to nationals. While there's a lot of talent in the NCAA this year, I do think Kaylee McCabe will be up there at nationals, and it's going to be interesting to see how things play out at the front with Olamoimoy, Lemgole, and Koskai, the three presumable favorites for the national title. Finally, speaking of the front of the pack, the Northeast Regional featured one name that'll definitely be interesting to watch out for at nationals, Graham Blanks. The Harvard senior went to the Paris Olympics, and he pulled away from the field for a final win before he can test himself against a very loaded men's field come nationals, with the likes of Solomon Kipchoge, Brian Mosal, Hoptim Samuel, and others. It'll be interesting to see how Blanks stacks up now that he's had time to really get his season going after a long summer. Although Parker Wolf was another American talent that could compete for the crown, he's not quite as dominant later in the season and may not be at 100%. Blanks, though, does seem to be ready for the challenge in Madison. Syracuse and Harvard would auto-qualify on the men's side, and on the women's side, Chloe Thomas, the senior from Connecticut, grabbed the title, and I do think she could be one of the top earners come nationals. Winning all our races this year, with the exception of a fifth-place finish at pre-nats. Ranked squads Providence in Syracuse got beat out of qualifiers, and BC would head to nats as an at-large team. Overall, it'll be soon that we'll see all the greatest talent in the NCAA clash in Madison after Division I championships, and it's a course that has produced some memorable finishes in the past.
Looks like he's going to hold on to it and win his first title at home. McDonald taking the NCAA title.
We'll see how these storylines that have taken a season to develop play out as everyone comes together to race the same course at the same time. And that should be absolutely incredible and amazing to watch. If you enjoy athletics coverage like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.